Well, I started Pecan, I suppose, because in some ways the economy was a bit like it is now. We were just coming out of a really appalling recession, and churches were talking a lot about, is this the end of full employment? And I thought that was just ridiculous. I thought people need to work, people want to work. And so I wanted to look for something which would enable churches to help people find work. And I don't really know quite why I felt I knew what to do, because I was 27 and I really didn't know what I was doing. But I thought I would be able to help people do CVs, interviews, things like that, and be able to help people get jobs.
For the first couple of years, really, we were doing mostly basic job search skills. So that, job search that included, like, CVs were just on the horizon at that time. They were just relatively new for a lot of people, and in this area. And so it was more that, and where to look for people. Where do you look? Where do you even start to look for jobs? So it was mostly to do with jobs, and then we used to do interview techniques or interview skills.
I've been here for just over 7 years, and I started in Pecan as the Chief Executive Officer. Although I have a longer history of knowing Pecan for about 20 years before that. So, within the infancy of Pecan, I worked alongside them with another organisation for the Shaftesbury Society, and we worked a lot of the time with the same people. Our volunteers were people that were being trained through Pecan and some of their early employment programmes.
And so we wanted to find the unemployed people, and all around Peckham, the unemployment statistics were appalling. So I got together a team of people to start door knocking to find people who might want to come on a course, and they started door knocking and people started coming, and it began to build up, and then we evolved the course to be a bit more effective, and more people started coming, and then we found people who were struggling with literacy, so we set up a literacy course, and then we found people who were mainly refugees, so we set up an ESOL course, and that's how it went from there.
What I saw is people coming in with no hope because they were bewildered. They all come with the same need. They all want to find work and they all want to be able to get on. And they were all baffled by the system and baffled, and there wasn't, at that time, wasn't a lot of help. There's an awful lot more help now.
3 decades ago, Peckham was probably one of the most frightening places in London. And I don't want to exaggerate it, but it really was scary. And the housing estates, it's hard to describe what those housing estates were like over there. They were terrible. And there was a reputation that the police wouldn't go on the estates. And we were, at times, pretty much the only people going on the estate, door knocking them. When we door knocked those estates twice a year for about 8 years. And we reached people who were being ignored by the system. And I think we really made a huge change to people's lives. Employment came down to below level of Dulwich.
What we are seeing now is a real changing environment. So when we started 30 years ago, we were looking at the issues on places like the Peckham North Estate, and there was a widespread poverty across the area. Pecan is in the middle of an area where it has changed. And we are seeing a growing gentrification across this part of London and in many places across London. And that changes the community that's here, the community that is resident here, the community that's been here a long time, the community whose children have grown up in the lifetime of Pecan, who are actually struggling to find employment still, struggling to find enough money to live in this area as it changes. I see Pecan as being a community organisation based in Southwark, working with the community, working with people, looking at the issues that are there, looking at the issues predominantly around poverty, and working with them of how can we make a difference? How can we support this community to change, to develop, to grow with what's happening around them and to embrace what's around them, but not to lose out.
So my name is Sophia. I manage the Southwark and Lewisham Women's Hubs. We work with women primarily who are coming out of prison or affected by the criminal justice system, but we also work with women who are going through a whole other range of sort of difficulties, from domestic violence, housing, employment, any kind of issue. We aim to be a one-stop shop for a whole range of issues, to enable women to access the support they need in one place, which is something that doesn't happen normally, and yeah, to be able to move on and make progress with their lives. There are stories of women who have been kind of caught in a cycle of being in and out of prison, but the experience of being able to access a probation officer in this environment, at the same time as working with an advocate, at the same time as accessing a whole range of courses, wellbeing activities. There are many women that we've worked with who have been able to move on with their lives and have not reoffended. So that is an amazing thing, and it's a big privilege to be able to provide a space like that. But there are also stories of women who tell us that they don't access any kind of support anywhere else, and that they're not able to access support anywhere else. So for us to be a kind of anchor in some way for some of those women who are experiencing often very difficult, painful things, is really amazing.
The Our Bank, the project, is a community project, and we get the members, people join up, the members, and the members support each other by sharing their time and skills. The membership, it works as people join up, primarily people that live in Southwark, but also in the surrounding areas like Lewisham, areas bordering Southwark like Lewisham. People join up, they register, and then we ask them for 2 references. And once they join up, then they can start earning credits. So they can earn credits by doing things like, we've got a gardening group, we've got people who do a bit of decorating, we've also got some people that do a bit of sewing, we've got members that come out and help us at events, and they actually really enjoy that. The main purpose of the project is to reduce isolation, is to get people connected, is so that people feel a sense of belonging, to help build a community, to stop people from becoming depressed. And what we want to do is to try and reverse that, is to try and get people connected, get people to talk to each other and help each other, support each other.
Pecan has certainly impacted on the community. Before I joined Pecan, I have knowledge of Pecan and what they do in the community, but it was more employment support. And in the last 10 years that I have been at Pecan, I have seen things evolved. You know, the food bank has been created, the Our Bank has been created, the women's services, and all those things that are need in the community. Pecan has jumping in there, try and find a solution, or try and find partners that can address the need of the community. Pecan has become like the hub that people will go to like when they need help. I'm not saying that we are able to support and help everyone that comes through the door. You know, Pecan within the resources that they have, we provide as much support as possible, but also find other partners that they can signpost or refer people to. So Pecan has evolved in what we do. We are definitely moved from employment support organization to a community organization that is supporting and impacting the community, that is helping people to move on from wherever they are to the next stage of the journey. So yeah, Pecan is definitely involved.
With Southwark Food Bank, we are seeing a rapid growth in the number of people coming through. The project was originally set up to support possibly about 400 people a year. In the last financial year, we fed nearly 6,000 people. We are seeing consistent growth in the number of people coming through. Sadly, with the introduction of universal credit, the food bank has grown and the length of crisis has grown as well. And people are finding it's taking longer and longer to come out of the crisis. So people have been coming back to the food bank on a more consistent level than we've ever seen before. And I don't think it's right that people should be coming for a handout. And that the idea of the only way you can survive is on the goodness of charities and the amazing generosity of the public who donate to those charities. So we have only this year set up our new project, which is a Peckham Pantry project, where people become members of a pantry and they will pay, at the moment it's £4.50, these may change over time. But for that money they can then get 10 to 15 items of food to support them and their family for the next week as part of their meals. It's not going to replace everything. It's not going to cover everything that they need, but it's an important step. We think we're saving everyone about 10, possibly £15 a week by just making a small payment. And with that, people also get the opportunity to choose. The opportunity to say, actually, I've brought this food myself. This is my food. It's not someone else's food given out of their generosity. It is my food. And that empowers people. And what Pecan is looking to do is find ways that we empower people in the community, not for us to do things for them, but so that they can do things for themselves.
You can't go hungry because you can come here and get all your bits and pieces. You can get cooking oil, tomato, rice, chicken, coffee, all the things you use, all the things you use in the house. If you don't get it this week, you'll get it next week. So it's very handy, very good for us in the community.
Well, there's a need for the pantry, essentially because there are lots of people who are finding it very difficult to make ends meet. There is a need, regrettably, for the food bank, but we also find there are people who are working who are still finding it difficult to make ends meet. So the pantry provides a way for them to actually firstly make choices in terms of the food and also actually feel as though they're still paying for something.
It's been amazing. When I see the difference that we do, there are plenty of times that frustrate us. There are plenty of times that can bore us in a job as well. But there are also those amazing times when you see the difference, when you see the smile on someone's face when something has changed, when a member of staff tells me about the difference that an intervention has made in someone's life and someone comes back in and says, that was amazing, thank you very much for that. Over Christmas, when someone just pulled up in their car and grabbed 3 or 4 bags of food out the back of their car and said, you gave me food when I needed it, thank you. Those are the times that make a difference, that you can see actually this community is amazing. And to be part of this amazing community and the giving that is in here, it just astounds me every day.